It's not what you have, it's what you can make.
In 2020, Bad Chad Customs vanished from Discovery Channel without warning. Fans waited for Season 3, but it never came. For years, Chad Hiltz and Jolene stayed silent about what really went down behind the scenes. Then, in 2023, Jolene dropped a bombshell during a Facebook Live that changed everything fans thought they knew about the show. The truth about Discovery's control, the cars that were supposed to be sold, and why Chad walked away from television fame is darker than anyone expected. What really happened to Bad Chad Customs isn't just about a canceled show, it's about breaking free. Chad Hiltz spent decades building cars in a tiny garage in Canning, Nova Scotia, completely unknown to the world. He was just another guy with a dream, getting fired from every regular job he tried, struggling to make ends meet. Then Jolene McIntyre walked into his life in 2016, fresh out of university, with a commerce degree and a vision nobody else could see. She looked at Chad's work and realized the world needed to witness his genius. So she started filming. Every weld, every impossible build, every moment of creation went straight to social media. The project that changed everything was a replica of Ralph Lauren's $40 million Bugatti. Jolene documented the entire process, posting weekly updates that started attracting serious attention. Discovery Channel executives stumbled across these videos and saw something special. Here was a guy building award-winning cars from literal garbage, airplane parts, boat scraps, kitchen cabinet knobs. Chad could turn a chicken coop into a Bugatti, and he was doing it with basic tools in rural Canada. Within a year of Jolene's first post, Chad went from being the guy who couldn't hold down a job to the star of his own television series. The show premiered January 1, 2019, introducing the world to Bad Chad's wild imagination and resourceful builds. Fans fell in love with his unconventional methods and the tight-knit team dynamic. Everything seemed perfect. 2 successful seasons aired, ratings were solid, and Chad's reputation exploded across North America. But behind the cameras, trouble was already brewing. In 2023, Jolene finally spoke the truth during a Facebook Live session that stunned their followers. She revealed something most fans never suspected. Huge portions of Bad Chad Customs were staged for television. The reality they watched wasn't nearly as real as they believed. Discovery Channel needed drama, deadlines, and manufactured tension. They scripted conversations, orchestrated conflicts, and pushed timelines that didn't match Chad's actual creative process. Jolene explained that reality shows are calculated productions that don't allow much freedom. Everything had to fit the network's vision, not Chad's. The pressure was suffocating. Chad had to build on impossible schedules, creating stress that wasn't natural to how he actually worked. The show forced him to rush masterpieces that deserved time and patience. Every episode needed a crisis, a breakthrough, a satisfying conclusion, even when real life didn't cooperate. Jolene emphasized that while the staged elements were frustrating, the actual builds were completely legitimate. Chad really did transform junkers into award-winning customs using scrap materials and ingenuity. The cars were real, the craftsmanship was genuine, and the budget constraints were authentic. Discovery's money funded the projects, but Chad's talent made them possible. However, the creative restrictions wore them down. Chad's imagination had no limits, but television production had plenty. He couldn't explore ideas that didn't fit episode formats. He couldn't take risks that might not resolve neatly in 42 minutes. The very thing that made him special, his unpredictable, boundary-pushing creativity, was being boxed in by network demands. The couple started questioning whether fame was worth sacrificing artistic freedom. Here's something that never made it into any episode. Chad Hiltz bought back almost every single car featured on Bad Chad Customs. The arrangement with Discovery seemed straightforward at first. The network provided funding. Chad built custom cars for clients. Everyone won. Except Chad couldn't stomach watching his creations drive away forever. These weren't just cars to him. Each build represented countless hours of problem-solving, imagination, and piece-by-piece transformation. He'd welded airplane parts into fenders, turned boat scraps into body panels, and created rolling artwork from literal trash. Letting them go felt like selling his children, so Chad and Jolene made clients an offer, cold hard cash in exchange for keeping the cars. They approached every person featured on the show with this proposal. The financial hit was significant, but Chad valued his creations more than money. One by one, clients accepted the buyback deals. Only a single client refused. Everyone else took the cash and walked away, leaving Chad with a garage full of television-famous customs. To this day, almost every car that appeared on Bad Chad Customs still sits in his shop. Fans who visit expect empty bays where finished projects once stood, but instead they find a museum of Chad's greatest hits. This decision revealed something crucial about Chad's priorities. He didn't build cars for profit or fame. He built them because creating was in his blood. The show was supposed to expand his business and attract new clients. But Chad realized he didn't want to be a service provider. He wanted to be an artist, and artists don't sell their souls. In late 2020, Chad confirmed to AutoWise that Discovery had already signed them for a third season of Bad Chad Customs. Contracts were done, plans were in motion, and fans were about to get more episodes. Then, the world stopped. The pandemic hit hard, shutting down production across the entertainment industry. Filming became impossible with travel restrictions, safety protocols, and uncertainty about when normal operations could resume. Season 3 went on indefinite hold, and Chad and Jolene waited for the call to return. That call never came. Months passed with radio silence from Discovery. No updates, no timeline, no communication about when or if production would restart. The network seemed to have moved on without officially canceling the show. Chad and Jolene were stuck in limbo, contracted to Discovery but unable to film. During this waiting period, something shifted. Chad and Jolene had time to think about what they actually wanted. The forced break from television pressure let them remember why they loved building cars in the first place. They started posting content on YouTube, sharing builds without network oversight, and the response was incredible. Their audience grew organically, engaging with content that felt authentic rather than produced. Comments praised the genuine feel compared to the TV show. Fans appreciated seeing the real process without manufactured drama or rushed timelines. Chad could take his time, explain his methods, and build whatever inspired him. By the time Discovery might have been ready to resume filming, Chad and Jolene had discovered something better. They didn't need television anymore. Freedom tasted too good to give up. YouTube changed everything for Chad and Jolene. Without Discovery's restrictions, they controlled every aspect of their content. No producers demanding specific storylines, no editors cutting their builds to fit time slots, no network executives vetoing creative ideas, just pure, unfiltered Bad Chad doing what he does best. The difference was night and day. On television, Chad had to compress weeks of work into dramatic 42-minute episodes with artificial cliffhangers and staged tension. On YouTube, he could show the real journey, the problem-solving, the failures, the iterative process that actual custom building requires. Viewers loved the authenticity. Their channel exploded, reaching over 330,000 subscribers who genuinely cared about the craft. These weren't casual viewers clicking through channels. They were engaged fans who watched full videos, left detailed comments, and shared builds with other enthusiasts. The connection felt personal in a way television never allowed. Jolene's business background proved invaluable again. She optimized their upload schedule, engaged with the community, and monetized the channel effectively. Between ad revenue, merchandise sales, and the freedom to take on projects they actually wanted, the financial picture looked solid. They weren't getting Discovery money, but they owned their content and controlled their future. More importantly, Chad could build at his own pace. If a project needed extra time for perfection, he took it. If inspiration struck for something weird and uncommercial, he pursued it. The pressure evaporated, replaced by the joy that originally drew him to custom cars. They'd traded television fame for something more valuable, complete creative autonomy, and a direct relationship with people who appreciated their work. Today, Chad Hiltz and Jolene McIntyre run Hiltz Auto Co. stronger than ever, building customs that push boundaries even further than what television allowed. Their shop in Canning, Nova Scotia remains the heart of operations, but their ambitions have expanded globally. They travel the world now, documenting builds and car culture from different countries. These trips provide fresh inspiration and expose Chad to techniques and materials he'd never encounter in rural Canada. Every journey becomes content for their YouTube audience, who get to experience automotive culture through Bad Chad's unique perspective. The garage itself tells the story of their journey. Remember those cars Chad bought back from Discovery? They're all still there, creating a living museum of his television era. Visitors can see the builds that made him famous, understanding how far his skills have evolved since those early Discovery days. Current projects range from traditional hot rods to experimental builds that would never have been approved for television. Chad's taking bigger risks, trying unconventional approaches, and occasionally failing, which he now shows openly. The failures teach as much as the successes, and fans appreciate the honesty. Jolene remains the business brain, managing operations while supporting Chad's creative vision. Their partnership has only strengthened, proving that the fiancé-turned-business partners formula works when both people respect each other's roles. She handles the commercial side, so Chad can focus purely on creation. The dream of expanding into a themed diner and larger merchandise operation continues to develop. They're building a brand beyond just car customs. It's becoming a lifestyle that represents creativity, resourcefulness, and refusing to compromise your vision for anyone. In January 2024, fans finally received confirmation that Bad Chad Customs was officially canceled. The news sparked outrage across social media, with thousands expressing fury at Discovery Channel for ending the show. Petitions circulated, angry comments flooded the network's pages, and viewers demanded explanations. But here's what fans missed. Chad and Jolene weren't upset. In fact, they seemed relieved. The cancellation was really a mutual parting of ways that happened years earlier. Discovery moved on during the pandemic, and Chad and Jolene had already built something better independently. The official announcement just formalized what everyone involved already knew. Reading between the lines of their social media posts and YouTube videos reveals the truth. They don't speak negatively about Discovery, but they don't express any desire to return either. When fans ask about the show coming back, responses are polite but non-committal. The enthusiasm they show for YouTube content completely eclipses any nostalgia for television. The real reason they never went back to TV is simple. Why would they? Television meant giving up control, rushing builds, and splitting profits with networks and production companies. YouTube meant ownership, authenticity, and direct connection with fans. The choice was obvious. Discovery likely realized this too. A host who doesn't want to be there makes bad television. Chad's passion was clearly elsewhere, pouring into projects that excited him rather than ones that fit network formulas. The cancellation that enraged fans was actually a blessing for Chad and Jolene. Sometimes losing something reveals you never needed it in the first place. What looked like failure was actually freedom. Bad Chad Customs didn't end because Discovery gave up on Chad Hiltz. It ended because Chad Hiltz outgrew television. He traded network restrictions for creative freedom, scripted drama for authentic storytelling, and corporate schedules for artistic control. Today he's building better cars, reaching more people, and actually enjoying the process. The show's cancellation wasn't a tragedy, it was liberation. While fans mourned losing their favorite series, Chad and Jolene were already living their best lives, proving that sometimes the best thing that can happen is losing what's holding you back. Bad Chad's story isn't over. It's just beginning on his own terms.